Did I just receive 1.6 million in the mail? Come with me as this story unfolds and we look into whether the letter that I received just a few days ago, does that contain just under 10 bitcoins or the equivalent of 1.6 million South African rands? So here's the letter. As you can see, it looks like it comes from MtGox. Now let me tell you more about MtGox.
MtGox was the biggest and most popular Bitcoin exchange, one of the earliest Bitcoin exchanges. Based in Tokyo, it was started by Jed McCaleb as a...
Wait a second, Jed McCaleb. Where have I heard that name before? Isn't he the same guy that started Ripple, co-founded it? Oh yes, and then, after a dispute with Ripple or something not going quite right, he went and started Stellar Lumens. It's the same guy, Jed McCaleb.
So the name MtGox comes from Magic the Gathering online exchange. In 2011, a French guy named Mark Karpelès buys MtGox, and shortly after that, the price of Bitcoin rises. The site becomes the most popular place to buy and sell Bitcoin in the world. Fast forward a few years later, in 2014, MtGox all of a sudden goes dark. It comes out that they have lost 850,000 Bitcoins, worth more than $450 million at the time, and they basically go bankrupt.
850,000 Bitcoins? Maybe I shouldn't be whining about my 10, or at least my 9.99. You know, they took some fees.
Mark is accused of stealing the money, and now you have 25,000 creditors, angry customers from MtGox, who all want their money back.
We're working on it, but anyway, in the meantime, we're sorry for the troubles caused by this.
At that point, it is the biggest and worst disaster Bitcoin has ever had. The Bitcoin price crashes. People have basically said that this could be the end of Bitcoin.
The end of Bitcoin? Have these guys lost their minds?
At first, Mark Karpelès isn't charged with anything. People suspect him, but they don't really know. It's not until the summer of 2015 when Mark is arrested. They still don't have a suspect for who stole the money, but they arrest Mark and charge him with embezzlement and manipulating electronic data. Mark, last summer when the trial began, has admitted that he ran something called the Willy Bot, which was basically using loans from customer funds to trade on MtGox, which people think he was doing to try to make up for the huge shortfall of Bitcoin. He served almost a year in jail. He was in solitary confinement, and for months straight, they interrogated him from morning to night, trying to get him to confess. Which he says he couldn't confess because he didn't do what he was being accused of. In 2017, the US authorities arrested a Russian suspect, Alexander Vinnik, when he was on vacation in Greece. And there's evidence that almost 90% of the money stolen from MtGox went directly into wallets controlled by Alexander Vinnik.
Oh, so Alex has my coins.
He may not have actually stolen the money himself, but he's being charged with money laundering. So Mark Karpelès looks not quite as guilty as people once thought. A few days after MtGox collapsed, Mark Karpelès was looking through some old digital wallets that he had, and he comes across a lucky break, which is 200,000 Bitcoins in this old wallet that he just never believed were there.
200,000 Bitcoins! Yes, we're getting something back.
2017, the Bitcoin price passed $2,000. That made it so the 200,000 Bitcoins left are actually worth billions of dollars. That's more than the entire 430 million that are owed to creditors. And under Japanese bankruptcy law, that surplus would go back to Mark Karpelès.
Wait a second, I never lost any fiat. I lost Bitcoins. So I think it's only fair that they pay the Bitcoins back, not some fiat value.
None of the creditors want that, none of the lawyers want that, and even Mark says he doesn't want that money because he knows that if he ends up walking away with any money, let alone billions of dollars from MtGox, he'll be fighting lawsuits and potentially death threats for the rest of his life. there's still 650,000 Bitcoins that have never been recovered. Mark believes either they can recover them potentially from the wallets that were controlled by Alexander Vinnik, or he could revive MtGox in such a way or work with another exchange to basically earn those Bitcoins back and pay back creditors. Mark wants nothing more than to do right by his customers. He's been hated. He's been compared to the Martin Shkreli of the crypto world in Japan. He wants to be able to move on with his life and maybe not be the villain that he was made out to be.
Guys, at Altcoin Trader, we take our clients' security very seriously. If Mark Karpeles had understood the concept of a cold wallet, the hackers wouldn't have been able to access those funds and no one would have lost their wallets. But in fairness, that was many years ago, so we can understand why the technology and Mark Karpeles didn't understand all these basic concepts. These days, most exchanges make sure, or at least Altcoin Trader does, we make sure that our clients' funds are in a cold storage facility, a cold storage wallet, which I personally do not have access to. I cannot access it without getting a lot of directors and a lot of partners together to sign. We've got protocol, we've got procedures before any cold storage coins can be released. A lot of things have to happen. And this protects you. It protects you from robbery. It protects you from hacking. So no one can access these coins unless we all agree. But I guess it's time to look into this letter and see whether I got 1.6 million rand. Okay, I'm just as excited as you guys. Okay, well, doesn't look like it's from MtGox. It's from a company called Fortress. Okay, I've just skimmed through this letter. I am going to put it on screen so that you guys can read it. But what it basically is, unfortunately, no, I have not got the 1.6 million in the mail. It simply is a letter that says that a company, Fortress, as I said, I'll put this letter on screen so that you guys can see it. They are willing to pay me $900 per coin and to buy my claim. So there's been a lot of speculation and a lot of people think that we are never going to get our MtGox money. But obviously there is some hope and we might get something back. Now this company appears to want to buy our claim. So in other words, they will pay $900 per Bitcoin. So that would be $9,000, which is nothing to sneeze at. I think it's around about 135, 140,000 Rand, which you could say I got in the mail, if I decide to accept this claim and sell my Bitcoin claim for basically 1/10 of what it's worth. I personally think I'm going to hold out and see what happens. I'm excited about the MtGox story. I'm excited to see how the Tokyo courts deal with this liquidation. It's been many, many years. As we know that this all happened in 2014, it's now 2019. I must be honest, I don't hold out much hope that I will get anything back, but I've put in my claims, I've done all the admin and all the paperwork. I'm not going to sell my claim for the $900 per coin. I'm going to see how it goes. That's it from me. Subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate that. And hit the like.